You guys have been getting pretty good at these Elite 20 videos, getting pretty good scores, even in the extreme editions. So today, we're not doing extreme. We're going to be doing a weird edition, kind of. A lot of the questions today are just weird facts, or cool facts, or strange facts, and things that are very memorable. So if you've heard it before, you probably will get the answer right. But if you've never heard it before, like me, there's going to be a lot to learn today. And I think that's what's very cool about today. You may not get the highest score, but you're going to learn a lot. And I think that's even more fun. However, the scoring still applies. You're going to try to get 15 out of 20, and if possible, a 20 out of 20 score, an elite score, and become an elite viewer and subscriber. Can you do it? I don't think it's possible, so prove me wrong. There may be bonus questions every once in a while to help you get that goal. However, if you can get 10 out of 20, I'll be proud of you. Let's start with the first question. And before we do that, just a little recap. The Elite 20 series is our weekly game show where I test your knowledge over 20 questions. After every single question, the questions get harder. It goes from easy to hard. And your goal is to try and get the score for the day. So in general, it's about 15 out of 20 or 10 out of 20 for an extreme edition. This is kind of in between, so maybe 12.5. No, we'll still do 15 today. Also, today's comment of the day is from our previous Elite 20 video, where Patrick says, "Took me a second to get the last one, but I figured it out. United Legend, Prem Legend 2. Now this is possibly one of my favorite questions I've ever asked. It was the last question of the previous video. If you don't want a spoiler, go back and watch it. However, the question was, which player's last name could be entirely written using Roman numerals? The answer is Vidic. V-I-D-I-C are all Roman numerals. I thought that was very, very cool and a unique question, which kind of inspired today's video of weird / unique kind of questions we can ask. Of course, there's still regular questions involved, like today's first question, so let's start. Question number 1. Which enigmatic Italian striker recorded only one single assist in his entire Premier League career, but it happened to be for the most famous goal in Manchester City's history? Another benefit of watching my videos is that I will sometimes reuse questions from different series. So this question was from a previous series, but never in Elite 20. So now I'm bringing it to Elite 20, and you get a chance to get a free point if you watch that video. As always, I will give you a hint after a little bit of time. If you answer before the hint and get it right, you get 1 point. If you answer after the hint and get it right, you get half a point. So it pays to answer early. Which Italian striker has only one assist in his entire Premier League career? Lock in your answers. This was for Manchester City's most famous goal ever. And if you need a hint, here is your hint. Your hint is Aguero. The assist was a sliding pass to Sergio Aguero in the 94th minute against QPR in 2012. That was 2012. Oh my gosh. That was not 14 years ago. That happened yesterday. What? No way. Damn. I feel old. Alright. Answer a lot. The answer for the first question is one of my favorite players just because of who he is and his personality. Mario Balotelli. So despite his reputation for chaos, Balotelli's one moment of unselfishness delivered City's first league title in 44 years. See what happens when he makes an assist. Imagine if he assisted every game, he would win every title. Okay, question number 2. This is a very fun one. I like this one. When Sweden plays Denmark in an international match, the TV scoreboard abbreviation creates SWE and DEN. They usually take the first 3 letters of each team or of each country. Which 2 countries create a similar abbreviation where one team is Pole, the other team is AND to spell Poland? Which 2 countries? So Sweden, Denmark, Sweden, Pole, and which 2 countries? My nose is so itchy. Because I smell a 20 out of 20 coming. But only one of you. Who will it be? Alright. If you need a hint, ask the guy driving by. And he's gone, so you get no hint to this question. I'm just kidding. One is a European heavyweight, and the other is located between France and Spain. Who are the 2 countries? Oh, that's why there's a hair on my nose. But I can't grab it. It's tickling me. Okay. Also, we'll answer the question first. Which 2 countries create Pole and AND to create Poland? The answer is Poland and Andorra. So when Poland faces Andorra, it spells Poland. But cool fact alert. This might make me a nerd, but this is really cool. So SWE and DEN make Sweden. But if you use the remaining letters of Sweden, it'll be Den. And the remaining letters of Denmark would be Mark. So it would spell Denmark. Isn't that cool? So first 3 letters, Sweden, Denmark, is Sweden. The last letters of Sweden, Denmark is Denmark. Ooh, that's so cool. Am I the only one who enjoys that? That's so cool. Alright, question number 3. If you're enjoying the video so far, leave a like, subscribe, so you can officially be an elite subscriber. If you don't subscribe, it doesn't count. You're just an elite viewer. No one wants to be an elite viewer. Question number 3. Why did the Indian national team withdraw from the 1950 FIFA World Cup despite having qualified for the tournament? And a not so cool fact, they have not qualified since that day, or that World Cup. Like 70-ish years ago. What is the answer? Now, I'm gonna give you, I can't. You know what, I'll give you half a point. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll give you half a point if you tell me the most common reason. But my hint is a free hint to this one. It's not that reason. The actual reason is not what people say. However, that still happened, but it wasn't the main reason. If that makes sense. So, because that doesn't make sense, there's no 50% point for this one. It's full points or nothing. Why did the Indian national team withdraw from the 1950 FIFA World Cup despite having qualified for the tournament? Okay. So answers are locked. The answer, which I thought was always the case, was that they couldn't play barefoot, and that's why they refused to go. Now, technically, that's one of the reasons, or one of the things that they didn't like. However, the real reason was because of financial constraints and prioritizing the Olympics. Allegedly. I just think it's funny that they wanted to play barefoot. I mean, for their safety, they shouldn't. if you're facing someone with metal cleats, that's gonna hurt like crazy. But if they want to do it, I guess they can do it. I don't know. Alright, question number 4. Like I said, it pays to watch other videos. Here's the question. Which Scottish club holds a perfect 100% win record against Barcelona, having won all 4 of their competitive meetings? Did they win or did they tie 2 of them? I thought they tied 2 of them. Regardless, they were unbeaten against Barcelona. They've never lost to Barcelona. Which Scottish club? We just had this in the most recent video we did, the rapid fire one. That one you had 5 seconds to answer. This one, you get more time. Psych, 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, I'm just kidding. You don't get more points for answering sooner. Well, you do. It's just after the hint, which is coming right now, so lock in your answers. Here is your hint. Which Scottish club holds a perfect 100% win record against FC Barcelona, having won all 4 of their competitive meetings? I think that's alright. Just say not losing all 4 of their competitive meetings. Their nickname is the Terrors, and played Barcelona in the 1996-1967 Intercities Fairs Cup and the 1986-1987 UEFA Cup. Their most famous win came at Camp Nou in 1987, where they won 2-1 to knock the Spanish Giants out of Europe. That's crazy. If that happened in today's day, the coach, the manager, the whole staff, all players, they're fired. They're wiping Barcelona clean. Answers are a lot. The Scottish club that is unbeaten against FC Barcelona is Dundee United. Dundee United. Question number 5. Last question of the easy category. Last time we're going to get a question we've talked about before. Which national team holds the unique distinction of being eliminated from a World Cup without conceding a single goal in open play? Didn't get scored on during in open play. So that means like penalties doesn't count. Free kicks don't count. If the ball was in play, the ball was rolling around. You were running with it, you were passing it. You were not scoring on this team. Who is this team? And a cool fact that won't count as a hint. They also hold the record for being the only team to fail to score a single penalty in a World Cup shootout. Damn. I mean, I like to put myself in their shoes, right? Like, close your eyes if your eyes are not already closed. And imagine stepping up to take a penalty with thousands of people watching, millions at home, your country watching, hoping, and you don't want to let them down. Won't you be nervous? That's why I feel like those who don't get nervous and just score and just really are not fazed or are some sort of animals. I don't know. That's what makes them professional athletes, but just to have that state of mind is outrageous. I'll have to meet someone new and I'll be like, I'm scared. But they're like, scoring one of the most important goals for my country's history in front of millions of people. Easy. I don't know. Alright. Answer a lot for the full points, the half point, or for the hint. This happened during 2026 World Cup, where they were eventually knocked out on penalties by Ukraine. Was this the penalty shootout where they scored nothing? Damn. Who is this team? Also, free hint, they're European. Answers are a lot. The answer, the team that were eliminated without conceding a single goal in open play, is Switzerland. Poor Switzerland. They don't do much. They don't hurt anyone. They don't harass anyone. They don't even concede goals. But they also don't score penalties. Alright, we are now going to the medium category, or the little harder category, with question number 6. Which retired English winger, known for his pace at Arsenal, surprisingly has more career UEFA Champions League goals than the legendary Brazilian Ronaldo, R9? This is crazy to think about. And your Dano hint. I like this player. I had this player on FIFA Ultimate Team. I think if you can relate to FIFA Ultimate Team around FIFA 14 to FIFA 18-ish, then you'll know every single question where I bring up FIFA Ultimate Team. You'll be like, I know who that is. I know who people used to play. This guy was a beast. 96 pace, I believe. Who is it? Who is it? Yeah. Oh, I never knew this either. Oh my gosh, how did I not know this? So the Brazilian Ronaldo won the World Cup twice, but he never won the Champions League during his career. So Brazilian Ronaldo and Ibrahimovic, two legends who never won the Champions League. That's so unfortunate and so sad. They both deserve it. Alright, lock in your answers. Here is your clue. It's not really much of a clue, but he scored 15 goals in the competition, whereas El Fenomeno only managed 14. Still good. But the fact that this English winger who played for Arsenal, who's very, 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 very fast, has more is kind of impressive. Think of a very, very fast winger, arguably the fastest winger in recent history. He has to be faster than Saka. I don't know if he's faster than Kyle Walker. Maybe. I'd say, based on FIFA, he is. In real life, I don't know. I think they'll debate that one. Answer a lot. The answer is Mr. Theo Walcott. Theo Walcott. Theo Walcott. Theo Walcott. Absolute speed. Alright, question number 7. This one's a weird one. During a 1945 post-war friendly match between Arsenal and Dynamo Moscow at White Hart Lane, what environmental condition was so severe that it allegedly allowed the Russian team to play with 15 men on the pitch without being caught? Now the question is, how did they find out if you couldn't see? If you could play with 15 men without being caught, then how do we know about it today? That means they were caught. This was a very, very interesting one. There's a cool fact I can't wait to read. Yeah. I don't know exactly how to. Oh, I can do it. I can do this. In a Pirates of the Caribbean, or Pirates of, do you say Caribbean or Pirates of the Caribbean video game, Keira Knightley did a voiceover where the ship was emerging from the distance, and she says, emerging like ghosts from the blank. What did she say? If anyone out there understands that reference, that's ridiculous. I don't know anyone who's ever played the Pirates of the Caribbean video game that I played. I don't even know if it was Pirates of the Caribbean. It was a pirate game, but it didn't have Jack Sparrow. Did I imagine it? No, it can't be. It was for Xbox, that's all I know. And that's a Dano clue, because it won't help anybody. I just like saying random things. Alright, your hint, lock in your answer, It is a weather phenomenon London was once famous for. Oh, why was it once? Hey, once famous for, so I guess they're not famous for it anymore. Arguably, I'd agree, because when I think about London weather or UK weather, I don't think about this. I think about another weather phenomenon or weather condition, weather situation. So if you're thinking about that one, don't choose that one, choose a different one. Alright, answers are locked. During a 1945 post-war friendly match between Arsenal and Dynamo Moscow at White Hart Lane, what environmental condition was so severe that allegedly allowed the Russian team to play with 15 men on the pitch without being caught? The answer is thick fog. It was so dense. Apparently, when an Arsenal player was sent off, he simply snuck back onto the field. At one point, Arsenal's goalkeeper reportedly knocked himself out by running into the goalpost, and a fan allegedly came onto the pitch to take his place. There's no way. This is why I said today's Elite 20 is going to be a little weird, because these facts, I don't believe them. You know what I mean? You can't believe that. A fan just came on. So the goalkeeper's on the ground, passed out, and the fan's just like, I'm not going to help him. I'm just going to play and try to save these goals. That's really funny. Damn. Alright, question number 8. This one I like. It's going to take a little bit of thought process here. Throughout the entire history of the FIFA World Cup, which specific trait has every single winning manager shared? So what does every single manager that has ever won the World Cup have in common? What specific trait do they have in common? And it's hard, because you're gonna think, oh, they all have blue eyes or something necessarily physical. It's not something physical. It's not a physical trait. And I also thought this to be interesting, and it's got me to start thinking, like, okay, based off of this, what does that mean? Because every single winning manager has this trait, which means if your team's manager does not have this trait, does that mean they're not going to win the World Cup? Or will it finally be broken? Alright, lock in your answers. Actually, no. There's going to be no hint, because the hint gives the answer away, which doesn't really make sense. Can I think of a better hint here? Okay, I'll give you a hint, but this is a free hint. This is a Dano hint. Based off of this, Carlo Ancelotti and Brazil are not winning the World Cup. Based off of this stat. Also, based off of this stat, Portugal's not going to win the World Cup either. Damn. Oh no, I don't like this stat anymore. Alright, answers are locked. Throughout the entire history of the FIFA World Cup, which specific trait has every single winning manager shared? The trait is every single manager that has won is the same nationality as the country they managed. No foreign manager has ever won the World Cup. So Carlo Ancelotti in Brazil, he's not Brazilian. They're not going to win. Roberto Martinez, Portugal. Portugal can't win. Who else can it be? Is your team not going to win as a result of this? Or does your team have a chance because they're the same nationality? Alright, question number 9. A little older, not too old of a question. In the 1993-1994 season, AC Milan won the Serie A title despite scoring only 36 goals in 34 games. Let me repeat that. They won the Serie A title by scoring only 36 goals in 34 games. Which legendary defensive duo formed the backbone of that team? So I need you to tell me the two center backs or half backs. Who are these two players? They are absolute legends. They are some of the best defenders ever. Who can it be? And just a cool fact, I found this amazing. AC Milan only scored 36 goals. But the reason why they won the title and won so many games is because they only conceded 15 goals. So they scored more than double than what they were scored against. They won 1-0 on 9 different occasions. That's crazy. That's where you hear defense wins championships. It's true. Look at that. You don't need to score a lot. When you have a defense like that, you just need 1 goal. That's it. Alright, your hint. Lock in your answers. One of them was the longtime captain called Il Capitano, and the other was a modern Milan icon. Your Dano hint. We've talked about one of these recently. For a specific reason, and not a great reason, this player made his team lose for doing something. Or let's say not doing something. Answers a lot. Here we go. 1993-1994. AC Milan won the Serie A title despite scoring only 36 goals in 34 games. Who was the center back partnership? The partnership was Paolo Maldini and Franco Baresi, who missed one of the penalties. Baggio missed the most important penalty, but Baresi was the one who missed the first of that penalty shootout, which caused him to lose that game. So, Franco Baresi and Paolo Maldini. Alright, we have question number 10 here, halfway through the quiz. How are you doing so far? It is kind of tough, but I expect some good results here. I believe in you. If you're on a perfect run so far, after this question, you could be perfect 10 out of 10. And that honestly is what I think you should aim for in this quiz, because it's a pretty difficult quiz. Who's going to get 20 out of 20? Who's going to be the perfect score? Here we go. Who is the only player in football history to have represented 3 different national teams in 3 separate FIFA World Cup tournaments? Now, I like this question because I think it was in my most recent Guess the Player with 3 Clues video, we discussed Kondogbia, and he was mentioned as playing for France, but then Central African Republic as a pro, not as a youth, because usually if you play as a youth for one country, as a pro you could play for a different country. But this guy was a pro and switched countries. And I forget the person's name. Oh, someone, what was the person's name? We're gonna do a comment of the day during the middle of the video. Here is that comment, who basically said the reason this happened was because Kondogbia never earned a cap for France. He only played friendlies, so officially he could switch to another country to get his official cap and start his national career. So thank you for correcting this, or for giving us this information. I learned a lot, and I hope everyone here also learns a lot too. So, in this situation, this player has played for 3 different national teams. How is that possible? But that's not the question. The question is, who is this player? I will give you half a point if you can explain why this is possible. If you can, then you get half a point. Your hint, lock in your answers. This player played for Yugoslavia in 1998, Serbia and Montenegro in 2006, and Serbia in 2010. That kind of gives you a hint as to why. So I'll still give you half a point if you tell me the reason this is possible, given that information. And if you need a Dano hint, this player's last name is kind of related to your mom. Yeah, I haven't said your mom joke in a long time. Yeah. Am I proud of it? Yes, I am. Alright, answers a lot. The only player in football history to have represented 3 different national teams in 3 separate FIFA World Cup tournaments is Dejan, D-E-J-A-N, Stankovic. Yes, I said your mom smells. Stankovic. And this is allowed because the change in team was due to political dissolution. So Yugoslavia dissolved into, I think, 7 or so countries, one of them being Serbia and Montenegro. Then Serbia and Montenegro separated and became Serbia. So when these countries separate, you can then choose which one you want to be affiliated with. So it went from one to another to another. Isn't that cool? Alright, we are in the hard category now. And rather than getting harder, it's pretty much just going to get weirder. Question number 11. In 2009, some of you may remember this, a Premier League match between Sunderland and Liverpool was decided by a goal that deflected off of a foreign object on the pitch. What was the object? And I find this crazy. I find it crazy that they allowed it. How do you allow that? Someone threw something on the pitch, it hit that item, and went into the net. Surely that's not allowed. So, I'll give you a free hint. This is just very weird, so I'm just going to give you a free hint. A Liverpool fan thrown this item onto the field just moments before Darren Bent's shot. So perfect timing, I guess. Oh yeah, so technically the referee should have stopped play for outside interference, but the goal stood and Sunderland won 1-0. That's crazy. And what's worse is that a Liverpool fan threw it. So a Liverpool fan threw it, helped Darren Bent score, and helped his team lose. I wonder if he was banned, because I know there was a fan for baseball, I think it was in New York, that caught a ball that their team's player could have caught. So if a fan interferes, the play, it depends. So depending on it, either the player just won't get out, or the player can run some bases. In this case, I don't think the player got out, and I think they ended up either losing or the other team ended up scoring as a result. And everyone hated him. There's news reports about him. Public enemy number 1. It was crazy. So I feel like with the passionate fans of European football, it might have been the same for this dude. I feel bad. Alright, answers are locked. Your hint is summertime. That'll be a free hint. That's your Dano hint. Summertime. A summertime object. Da, 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 da. Answers are locked. Here we go. The item that was thrown onto the pitch that had the ball deflect off of it and score was a beach ball, which is impressive. How heavy was the beach ball to deflect a soccer ball going, I'm assuming, very, very fast if Darren Bent shot it? Maybe it just moved the trajectory a little bit, not that much. A lot of these I want to go back and watch actual clips if there are, just so I can see visually what happened in these moments. Question number 12. This is a similar one to the Stankovic one. Who is the only player in history to have scored for 2 different countries in 2 different World Cup tournaments? So Stankovic played for 3 different teams, but didn't score for more than one. This player scored for 2 different countries in 2 different World Cup tournaments. And because I'm feeling generous, I will give you half a point if you can explain why this is possible for this player to have scored and played for 2 different teams. Also, fun fact, he's also one of the few players to have played for both Real Madrid and FC Barcelona. And another hint, it's not Luis Figo. It's also not wait, who played? I'm actually blanking now. Who else played for Real Madrid and Barcelona? I don't know. I mean, it says one of the few to actually do it. Maybe it's just those 2. Alright, lock in your answers. Here is your hint. He scored for Yugoslavia in 1990 and for Croatia in 1998. What is this player's name? And bonus, why is this possible? Answers are locked. The answer for the only player to score in 2 different World Cups with 2 different teams is Robert Brozonicki. And this happened because political dissolution from Yugoslavia broke up, and he affiliated with Croatia as a result. So it seems like the only loophole is for a country to dissolve, and then you can choose which part of that country you want to now join. Question number 13. Which 1962 World Cup match is infamously known as the Battle of Santiago due to its extreme violence and multiple red cards? You know I love red cards. Which 2 teams made up this Battle of Santiago? The first foul occurred within 12 seconds. You'll love to see it. And the referee had to call the police. Had to call for police intervention 3 times to restore order. I feel like after 2, you gotta just call the game. 1, I'll allow it, especially if the police can get everything back under wraps. That's okay. Give them one more chance. But once the second chance, you cannot let it go 3 times. I know they say like 3 times the charm, you know what I mean? But if you have to call for police intervention. Which 2 countries are these? Now, I will give you a hint. Battle of Santiago. Santiago, I believe, is the capital of this country. At the very least, it's a city in this country, or a place in this country. I don't know if it's like a province or state. I think it's a city. So which country is that? And then the other country is a country we previously mentioned in today's video. So given that hint, that's half a point. That's too good of a hint. If you get it now, you get half a point. Alright, answers are locked. 1962 FIFA World Cup. The Battle of Santiago, due to extreme violence and multiple red cards, was between the host nation of Chile, Santiago's from Chile, and Italy. They apparently have beef. They just fought each other. That's crazy. I should watch a video of that as well. Question number 14. Who holds the record for the fastest goal ever scored in a FIFA World Cup? I feel like we've mentioned this before, but I don't remember the answer, so I put it in. And this was actually, you know what? First question will be, how long did it take for them to score? In seconds. You need to be within 5 seconds within the actual time to get your bonus point. And then I need to know, what was the player's name? And for half a point, this is too confusing, just answer how long it took for them to score. Okay, lock in your answers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is 11 seconds. So if you said anywhere from 6 to 16, you get 1 bonus point. Now, who is the player that scored? And for, you know what, an extra point, what country did they play for? So 2 more points up for grabs. Oh, I can't make another your mom joke. I was about to, but one your mom joke for each video. What is the player's name? What is the player's country? Now I'm going to give you a hint. This will give you half a point for the country question. This player is from the same country as a player that I can't pronounce the name of, that I previously mentioned recently as a Dano hint. I said Dano hint for this question. I can't pronounce this person's name, even though I've researched it. So if you remember who that player was, what country was he from? Answers are long. The answer is Hakan Sukur. Sukur. But the U's have the 2 things at the top, which I still don't know what they're called. Hakan Sukur. And he is a Turkish legend. So if you said Turkey, you get a full point. If you said Hakan Sukur, you get another point. And if you said 6 to 16 seconds, you get another point. I'm feeling generous because it's kind of difficult today. Turkey didn't start with the ball. They won it back from South Korea immediately and went on to score in 11 seconds. That's crazy. Question number 15, the last question of the hard category before we get to the extremely difficult questions. This is a chance for you to get 15 out of 20 if you're on a perfect streak, or if you got some cool bonus points. Regardless, you still have a chance to get a lot of points left. So if you're almost at 10, that should be the goal. But if you're getting on your way towards 15, you can do it. I believe in you. Here you go. In 1996, Southampton manager Graham Souness was tricked into signing a player who claimed to be the cousin of George Weah. Who was this fake professional? What was this player's name? This is crazy to me. I don't know how he was tricked. Who told him? Because surely if this player just went and said, hey, I'm George Weah's cousin, he wasn't like, okay. He's probably like, hey, scout, is that George Weah's cousin? Hey, assistant manager. Hey, trainer, have you heard of this guy? Let me ask my connections. You know the guy from Pawn Stars? I got a guy for this. I got a George Weah cousin impersonator friend that I want to call to verify this. You know what I mean? So how did he make it on? Apparently, he played only 32 minutes as a substitute against Leeds United before it became obvious he was an amateur. Now, I'd argue that it wasn't obvious if he stayed for 32 minutes. I think he did a pretty good job. And this player had actually played for several lower league clubs in Germany and France, but had no real connection to the Ballon d'Or winner. I have no hint for you. Since I gave you 3 points possible in the last question, I'm just going to give you no hints for this one. Answers are locked. In 1996, Southampton manager Graham Souness was tricked into signing a player who claimed to be the cousin of George Weah. Who was this fake professional? His name was Ali Dia. A-L-I space D-I-A. Shout out to Ali Dia. You're now one of my favorite players. Alright, the extremely hard final 5 questions. Are you ready? Here we go. Question number 16. Which Romanian club holds the record for the longest unbeaten domestic league run in European football history, going 104 games without a loss? That's like 3 seasons. Which Romanian club holds the record for the longest unbeaten domestic league run in European football history, going 104 games without a loss? I will honestly give you half a point if you name the city. That way you can just name a random city in Romania and hope for the best. I will also give you a full point if you can tell me the famous player that was on this team. And your hint for that, a free hint, this is a Romanian team. So what famous Romanian player can this be that played for this team? And this happened during the 1986 to 1989 seasons. So that should give you even more of a hint. If you tell me the exact team name, I will give you 2 bonus points. I'll be very, very impressed. If you give me just the... You know what? If you give me just the city, I'll give you 1 point. If you tell me the legendary player that played there, you get another point. If you get the full name, I'll give you 2 points. The full name of the team. Alright. Lock in your answers. You can't change them now. But if you're still confused, here is a hint for half a point. The run finally ended when they were defeated by their bitter rivals, Dynamo Bucharest. Does that change your answer? You can't change it now. Answers are locked. The Romanian club that holds this record, unbeaten for 104 games, is Steaua. Staua. I pronounced that pretty bad. Bucharest. They were both named Bucharest. So if you said Bucharest, Romania, you get a point. The legend that played for Steaua Bucharest is George Hagi. George Hagi, the legend. If you played FIFA, you know. So 1 point Hagi, 1 point Steaua Bucharest. Or 2 points. Or 1 point for just Bucharest. Alright, question number 17. In 2011, during a match between Victoriano Arenas and Claypole in Argentina, referee Damien Rubino set a world record by showing how many red cards. I love red cards, I'm telling you. How many red cards did he show in one game that made this the world record? Apparently there was a mass brawl that broke out in the second half of the game, which led to this fiasco. I will give you a hint. There are 22 players on the field. But also, there are some people on the bench. And we know sometimes those people on the bench can get a little rowdy. And they could get a yellow or red card too. So maybe it's less, maybe it's more than 22. I will give you a point if you're within 3 red cards. Either side. I think that's fair. Okay, Answers are locked. In 2011, during a match between Victoriano Arenas and Claypole in Argentina, referee Damian Rubino set the world record by showing how many red cards. The answer is 36. He sent off all 22 players on the field, all substitutes, and some coaching staff. Every single person removed from the game. And the game ended because there was no more players to play. That is crazy. I love that stat. Every single player, substitute, and some coaching staff. I think they should allow the coaching staff to play and finish the game. That would be really funny. Alright, question number 18. 3 more questions left. This is one of the weirdest questions I have, and I really like this one. When Swedish midfielder Stefan Schwarz joined Sunderland in 1999, his contract famously contained a space clause. What did this clause forbid him from doing? Now, you know what? I was going to give you a hint. Like an easy one, like it's not this. But I was going to think like someone might actually think that's the reason. Because this is kind of strange, so maybe that could be the reason. So I'm not going to tell you just yet. This is crazy. I can't give you a hint. Okay, so lock in your answers. Your hint is, it has nothing to do with personal space. It's not like Stefan Schwarz was known from getting too close to people. Hey. My name's Stefan Schwarz. Hey. You got games on your phone. Why? What is this clause? What did it forbid him from doing? It's called the space clause. Your answer is locked. However, here's your clue, official clue. It has to do with outer space. Has to do with outer space. Answers are locked. Here we go. Swedish midfielder Stefan Schwarz joined Sunderland in 1999. His contract famously contained a space clause. What did this clause forbid him from doing? During this time, commercial spaceflight was becoming a topic of discussion. So, this clause forbid him from traveling into space. The club was concerned he might join one of the first commercial flights on the Soyuz and wanted to protect their investment. So I don't know if he mentioned hey, I want to go to space, or this is cool, I'm thinking about this. And his team's like, nah, you ain't going to space. That's so weird. The fact you have to put in a clause saying, hey, you ain't going to space if you're playing with us. I think that's very weird, but I think that's cool. I don't know who Schwartz is, but he likes space. I like space. That's cool. I like him. Okay, question number 19. 2 more questions away from glory. Here we go. Lock in. In a 1996 international friendly between Iceland and Estonia, a historic substitution took place that had never happened before and has never happened since in international football. What happened? If you know the person's name or the 2 people that were involved in the substitution, I'll give you 1 point for each. But you don't need to know that. You just need to know, why was it so weird or historic that this substitution took place? What was the reason for it? So, fun fact, they never played on the pitch at the same time. They wanted them to play on the same time at home in their next match, but one of the players broke their leg before that could take place. So what was so strange about this? Okay, what kind of hint can I give you? These two players know each other. That's all I can give you. And it's not a great hint, so I'm not going to take anything from you. You'll still get the full point. They know each other. How do they know each other? That actually might have given it away, but that's okay. Answers are a lot. Here we go. In a 1996 international friendly between Iceland and Estonia, a historic substitution took place that had never happened before and hasn't happened since. The answer: a son was substituted for his father. So this was for Iceland. The son, Jor Gudjonsson, I believe is how you pronounce it, was substituted on for his own father, Arnor Gudjonsson. So it's the same family, same last name. This never happened before. And they were going to play on the field at the same time, but the son got injured. And they never could. That's so sad. Alright, the last question of the day. I don't know why I left it last. It's a very tragic one and a very, very sad one. But it's such a weird one that I find it very odd and like conspiracy kind of. So we're going to end off with this question. In 1998, during a match in the Democratic Republic of Congo between Bena Shadi and Basanga, a freak atmospheric event occurred that resulted in the death of all 11 players on one team, but the other team remained completely unharmed. What happened? What was this atmospheric event? Now, just a side fact, when this happened, there was local accusations of witchcraft because it seemed impossible for one team to be I wouldn't want to use the word decimated, but to be, hurt like that, killed, while the opposition walked away without a single injury. Whether you believe in that or not, it seems very confusing and suspicious, you know what I mean? Now, there is a scientific reason to explain why this could have happened, which I will explain. So your hint is this happens all over the world. This atmospheric event is not something crazy like a tornado or like earthquake. It's something more common. Answers are a lot. Here we go. During this match, one team passed while the other were completely unharmed. Why? The answer is a lightning strike. A lightning strike hit the field, killing 11 players, and I believe they injured some people in the stands. But why was the other team unfazed and unharmed? The answer, people are saying that I believe the team was Basanga that passed. Basanga was wearing metal cleats, all of them, while the other team, Benashadi, was wearing rubber soles. So the rubber protected them from the electrical charge that came from the lightning. That's scary. But it could also be witchcraft. But that's the scientific reasoning behind that. R.I.P. to all the Basanga players. Alright. Thank you all for watching. That ended on sort of a sad note. So we're going to do a bonus question. I had 2 bonus questions, but I decided to put one of them into the main video today. So this question today, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite thing, money. We all know collectibles are going crazy. So let's talk about one of the biggest collectibles. The original ball used by Diego Maradona to score the Hand of God goal against England in 1986 was sold at auction in 2022. For how much did it sell? I will like the answer in either pounds or dollars because I have those conversions. I don't have the euro amount. And I will give you a bonus point again if you can tell me who kept the ball for 36 years before selling it. Also, for frame of reference, the shirt that Maradona wore in that game sold for £7.1 million just months earlier. So with that, I will give you the point if you tell me to the nearest million, because it's millions of dollars, to the nearest million. Okay, I lied. 1 million either side. So for example, if it's 100 million, you would have to say 99 to 101 million to get the point. Answers are locked. The amount that is sold for was approximately £2 million or $2.4 million American dollars. So less than the shirt that he wore, which kind of makes sense. The actual shirt he wore should be more than the ball that everyone played with, but you know. And the person who held on for it for 36 years before selling it, which is kind of crazy, was the Tunisian referee, Ali bin Nasser, who kept the ball. Is he allowed to do that? He kept the ball for 36 years and sold it for millions of dollars. Arguably one of the best investments out there. I don't know. There probably are better investments, but that's a pretty big one. Alright. Unfortunately, that's the end of the video. I feel like these videos are getting longer. I just keep talking more. Eventually we're going to have like a 2-hour video. But thank you all for watching. I hope you did well. If not, that's okay. This was a very weird episode. There's random facts that you may not know. Doesn't necessarily mean you're not a fan of football. But I think it's just a fun video for us to learn. I actually learned a lot as well, and I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. Leave suggestions for future videos. Leave a like, subscribe. Tell your mom I say sorry. I didn't mean to call her stinky. And most importantly, take care of yourself. Love yourself. Take care of each other. Love each other. Have a great rest of your night. And have a great sleep.